Is it advisable? Yeah, maybe not. And here we go. They are about to, we're going to watch Superman, the points leader, qualifying. So you can get an idea what these cars look like going around here. Now these are 300 plus horsepower cars that weigh just over 1,400 pounds. As we said before Dover, they do have enough downforce that they could drive upside down with a full fuel load and a driver. They can sustain their own weight. That is how much downforce these Radical SR8s have. They are quite fast, but even more than that, they are built to be a road car, so they're very, very grippy going through the corners. You'll see these guys with a NASCAR car, you see these guys drift out to that outside wall. Tonight, you're going to be watching these guys right along the bottom all night long. We'll get to see the big packs of them coming through 3 and 4 right here. Talladega has 33-degree banking in turns 1 and 2, 32.5 in turns 3 and 4. And they are fast. The front tri-oval is banked at 16.5 degrees, and the back straightaway is 3 degrees on this 2.66 mile super speedway. Looks like they have a little bit longer qualifying time tonight, but if they get done early, they'll probably hop in those cars and get started quickly. As you heard Gerald Poole say, they did have to get down from Dover, so they hopped in their helicopters and flew to Alabama real quick, hopped back in the car. Didn't think to check and see how far that flight from Dover, Delaware to Talladega, Alabama would be, but I'm sure it was a very quick one for some of these guys, especially a guy like Superman. And of course, Iron Man will be out there in that number 22 car. And I would imagine we might get to talk to the race leader after it's all said and done. Right now, Gerald Poole is sitting on the pole. Just got overtaken as we start to see their lap times come to completion. And they are all, the top 6 cars are all within 0.02 of a second, folks. That's how close these guys are on the track without the draft, and they're going to be going a lot faster with the draft. And they are no more than 0.2 apart right now from 1st to 10th place, so this is going to be one heck of a battle. Got just a couple more cars to qualify, and we'll see where they stand. But as it stands now, Bobby Rusk and Chris Stanbridge will start on the front row. Gerald Poole and Mason Neal will start on the second. Superman Norman Chan will be leading Tom Land on the 3rd row. Stephen Barber and Michael Graynolds will be the 7th and 8th place. And 9th and 10th will be Doug Thomas and James Belair. And while they're out there finishing up qualifying, I'll just go over a list of some of the series that they have available right now. They have SK Mods ARCA, the 305s. They have a silver 305 and a gold 305. They have a 360. Those are all being the dirt oval. They have a street stock. They have the trucks. They have the SR8 rookie and advanced, this being the advanced. Dirt street stocks, limited late models, midgets, enduros, and an MX5 class. So quite a variety. Outcast Independent League, all their leagues and series, they have something for just about everybody. Looks like everybody has completed qualifying at this point. So we might see him get started pretty quickly. And they qualified at about 1:02. However, some of these at Daytona, they were 5-6 seconds faster in the draft. So we'll see if that plays the same out again here tonight at Talladega, or maybe they'll be even faster with this wider track. Longer track, they might be a little bit faster. It's hard to say what's going to happen here tonight. The few things that we can be certain of, we will see a big one, more than likely early on. Then we'll see some guys play it safe. At Daytona, we saw some guys hang off the back early on and stayed out of trouble, and then in the last 5 laps came charging to the front. We'll see if that happens here again tonight. And lest we forget our sponsors tonight, MotoWear International, excuse me, Rocket Racing Setups, and J&A Machine Shop. My apologies, I went blank immediately when I started listing off the sponsors. Again, this is the Outcast Independent League. They are finishing up qualifying. This is their SR8 Advanced Series, the final race of the championship. And currently, with Superman Norm Chan is currently qualified in 5th. He is your points leader, and Gerald Thanos Poole is currently qualified in 3rd. If they finish where they start, Gerald Poole will take the championship, but this is anybody's race at this point. It's going to be between those two. It's 32 points back from Gerald to Mason. Mason Neal currently qualified in 4th. He's 3rd in points. He is 13 points behind Michael Grainolds, who qualified 8th. And I do not see Kyle here tonight. We'll see if he might get in here at the last minute. Two minutes left in qualifying, and we will get started. As I said earlier, we did see 4 wide at Daytona. Saw most of the race 3 wide. They were banging off each other. It was really quite impressive to see that much beating and banging and them not take each other out. So we were mightily impressed with that. So let's see what they can do tonight. They can easily go 4 wide here. We'll see if they cross the finish line 5 wide. And if it gets really crazy, you never know. Somebody might drop to the apron and make it 6 wide. We saw a lot of people down on the apron at Dover trying to make a move to the inside. And we are getting ready to go green. There is Chris Stanbridge. Looks like he's driving a different paint scheme this time, or it may not have quite loaded yet. He was driving the Iron Man paint scheme just a few moments ago. But we will be watching the number 3 Superman car very, very closely. He is your points leader. We will also be watching that number 63, Gerald Thanos Poole. Currently 2nd in points. Just 3 points separate those 2 cars. And Bobby Rusk in the 52 is going to lead them down. 1 lap to green. Catch your breath right now, folks. We're not going to get to breathe for about 35 laps. And you see how far they're split right now. That is the furthest they are going to be apart all night long. They do at Daytona, they were leaning on each other. At Indy, they were side by side, inches apart all the way around the track. At Dover, we just saw how that went. And to rewatch any of these races that they have had broadcast here, you can go check out the YouTube channel of the same name. The link is on the Facebook page. We're also live on Twitch. Definitely go check us out. You can see all their races. Their previous broadcasts are on the YouTube channel, including that insanely crazy Daytona finish that was 4 wide. And a rather insane finish at Indy, I might add. Alright, here they come through 3 and 4. Do remember the start-finish line is not in the middle of the tri-oval, folks. It is one of the unique features of Talladega is that it is almost at the entry of turn 1. It is just past the pit road exit. So they will not be racing to the start-finish line in the middle of the tri-oval. They have to go a ways past it. We'll see if Bobby Rusk decides to go as soon as the pace car drops, or if he's going to give it a few seconds and then take off. Get a little distance shot here and see what he does as they come to green. Green flag is out. Chris Stanbridge gets a huge jump to the outside as they as they come up to speed. Chris Stanbridge is holding that outside line. I'd imagine he's going to duck back down pretty low pretty quick. Not yet. Seems like he's wanting to hold that outside line. As they come out of turn 2, they're all building up momentum. Chris is up there by himself right now. Looks like he's about to get some help. There's his teammate Tom Land to the inside there. 3 wide coming down the back straightaway, looking to be 4 wide. And they kind of settle down. It looks like Chris might be dropping to the back. He might be planning to play this one safe. As the 52 of Bobby Rusk is now in the lead. Gerald Thanos Poole right behind him. And Superman Norman Chan to the outside of Thanos. As they come around and complete the first lap, they're taking it a little bit easy right now, but this is not going to last long. As you see, Bobby Rusk drops down to the inside. He's putting his left side tires as low as possible. He's not going to let Gerald get around him on the inside here at Talladega. And it looks like that outside line might be picking up some momentum, especially coming off the corner on the outside. They get a little bit better run. These guys are playing it quite a bit safer than they did last time. Chris Stanbridge seems to be off the track at the moment. As they come out of turn 4, and there is the start-finish line as they all come across it. That pack is separated by less than 8/10 of a second, and the top 7 less than 3/10 of a second. Got one Michael Graynolds hanging out back there, playing it safe early on. He saw how Daytona went. He wants to take it a little bit easy tonight. As they come around, we will look and we'll take a ride around the track in the points leaders. Or I'm sorry, the second place, Gerald Thanos Poole. We will take a ride around the track in his car as he follows Bobby Rusk around. And you can see here comes the center of the tri-oval, but there is not a start-finish line there. You see how close these guys are. And there is the start-finish line to begin a lap of Talladega. 2.66 miles, 34-degree banks in turns 1 and 2, 33.5 in 3 and 4. I'm sorry, 33 degrees in turn 1 and 2, 32.5 in 3 and 4. As they come down the backstretch, you cannot see a lot of what's in front of you, so these guys definitely have to trust each other. As we see the number 91 of Tom Land gets a heck of a run to the outside. And coming through 3 and 4. See Gerald Poole and Bobby Rush just holding that bottom line, staying right on the yellow line. These cars have enough downforce that they can hold that yellow line. Don't lose any momentum, don't lose any speed. They go all the way around down on the bottom line. That forces that outside line to really work together if they're going to get past them to the lead. And that is a lap of Talladega in a Radical SRA. As we mentioned, these cars have over 300 horsepower and weigh only 1,400 pounds. And they have a ton of downforce. And once we see, after completing 5 laps, they are still taking it fairly easy. They know they've got to go the distance to get that championship. As you see, Thanos and Superman side by side going through 3 and 4, something you'll probably never see again. And they complete lap 5 caution free. .30 laps to go. We see those 2 cars in the back. Michael Graynolds, Mason Neal hanging out back there. There is Mason in that colorful striped car. And they can hang out as far back as half a second. These cars punch such a big hole in the air that you can hang out on these super speedways at a half a second back and still be in the draft and still suck back up very quickly. All it takes is a heavy foot, and we saw Mason Neal up front at Daytona. He definitely knows how to get around, get to the front. As it looks like him and Michael are starting to close that gap back up now. Everybody's playing a little bit nice here. James Belair there to the outside in the number 90. You got to wonder what the plan is here. These 3 guys are hanging out back, playing it safe, still in the draft. If they got hooked up, they could come make a 3rd row, easily make a move to the outside. And we did see in Daytona, there is enough side draft off these cars that you could work up the middle with no help. So will we see a move later in the race where somebody comes from the back straight up the middle to take the win? That is Tom Land in the outside line, the number 91 car. Only 1 car behind him to help, and he is still managing to hold with the front 2 cars on the inside line. Looks like Doug Thomas is hanging out back there. He's occasionally jumping up to the outside line. We'll see if we saw him make some really big moves at Daytona. He would be in the outside line one lap, and the next lap he'd be at the front on the inside. So we'll see what kind of moves he has here at Talladega. I know these guys, after a lot of bumping and banging in the Daytona race, they were told to back off just a little bit, but I can promise you, with 5 laps to go, there will be no backing off. And you could throw a blanket over those top 5-6 cars right now. as they come out of turn 4 coming down the tri-oval. And you can tell we're not seeing nearly as much moving around as we did at Dover. These cars are a lot more planted and stable, and it's like if you get to the front, make a move past everybody around you and move up to the front, you oftentimes hit a wall of air, and you've got to have that push to get around. Some of these guys have people they will plan to work with, and some are going to try and go solo. And there is Doug Thomas in the Cheetah Print car, number 5. He's just hanging out back there quietly at the moment as well. Oh, we're starting to see a little bit of bumping up here. As they come through the corners, starting to see just a little bit of bumping. Look like Gerald Poole and Stephen Barber were both kind of drifting up just a little bit up there where Superman Norman Chan is. And looks like Tom Land went high going through 1 and 2. He is going to drop back down, and look at that. Norman Chan drops to the inside line, leaves Tom Land alone out on the outside. They will go single file down the back straightaway. But you can see Tom Land, he drops down and gets a little bit of a side drive. Looks like he's going to get some help from behind there. Looks like that is the number 28 of Stephen Barber moving to the outside line. He's going to go up and try and give Tom Land a push. Like I said, they do get a lot of side draft off these cars. So every time you see Tom moving down just a little bit, trying to get a little closer, he's trying to get that side draft and get some kind of advantage. We saw that side draft come into play a lot at Indianapolis. Will it come into play on the final lap here? More than likely. As Gerald Thanos Poole starts looking up. No, he goes back down, starting to look to the middle there. With the points leaders nose to tail, Gerald Thanos Poole is second in points, and Superman Norman Chan is right behind him. He is first in points. Just 3 points separating them after that Dover race. As we see Tom Land way up the hill. And they go 3 wide. Stephen Barber holds it down to the inside. Pulled up, got a little side draft, and Tom Land seems to be dropping back a little bit. There is Stephen Barber. He is on the outside, leading the outside line currently, but will we see some of these guys start to move up? 12 laps down, 23 laps to go. Some of these guys are taking it easy, while a couple of these guys are trying to work their way up to the front. We see that 28 of Stephen Barber. He is running up there on the outside. And we are 3 wide as Tom Land goes up the middle. 28 slides back down. Looks like that might have been a team effort. Looks like these two are trying to work together and find out which way they are fastest. And look who's coming up from behind. 49 of Mason Neal comes charging up to the front. He is trying to work that third line to the outside already. 12 laps in, he's played it safe. Everybody seems to be being careful, so he's going to try and make a move. Look like Stephen Barber and Tom Land were trying to figure out who could push better, who was better up front. And while they were playing around, Mason Neal came charging up there. Now they'll have to contend with him, and they know he is one to watch for. But Mason cannot carry enough momentum. Looks like he is going to drift back a little bit. And now all the cars on the lead lap are right back up there together again. Looks like we've got a few hanging out there at the back. It looks like Mason Neal might have been practicing for a late race move. Meanwhile, up at the front, Bobby Rusk is loving this. He's got Thanos pushing him, Superman pushing Thanos, and he just maintains the lead. Managed to maintain the lead for 14 laps. Does not look like Tom Land can get much help there to the outside. Every time he goes up high, that 28 car just ducks underneath of him. They can't get enough of a run there to the outside to make any significant moves yet. As they come through 3 and 4, looks like the 28 is stuck there on the outside by himself now. Tom Land fell back quite a bit. As they come down the front stretch, it looks like Tom Land is pulled back up a little bit, but those two are getting no help from behind. We know Mason Neal will get up there when he is good and ready. We saw that. He can pull himself all the way back up, and he is just hanging out back there with Michael Graynolds. Back in the safety of their own little bubble, still in the draft. Looks like that outside line carries a lot of momentum out of 2, but kind of dies off coming down the straightaway. Kind of the exact opposite of a stock car. You tend to see the outside lines being faster on the straightaways and the inside line being faster in the corners, but in these radicals, everything is upside down, including the cars. These cars do have enough downforce, we've mentioned it, to drive upside down. They've proven that in the wind tunnel, and I'd really like to see them test it. Now, we heard Gerald Thanos Poole after the race saying he wished he could snap away about half the field and make it a lot easier on him. We'll see if that glove comes into use later in the race. 20 laps to go. They're going to keep playing it a little bit safe, I would imagine. And we did see some bump drafting at Daytona. Not seeing a lot of bump drafting here at Talladega tonight. And there comes Mason Neal again. He's going to the outside of Michael Graynolds there in the back. Was he starting another practice run to charge to the front? No, he drops back in line. And that's 28 Stephen Barber, excuse me. He is just hanging out by himself on that outside line right now. Looks like Tom Land has slipped back to about 6th position. Hanging out with those 4 guys there at the back. And I don't think Stephen Barber is going to be able to hang that outside line without any help for very long. These cars are starting to actually separate a little bit. Quite a bit of a different race than what we saw at Daytona. Daytona was limited on cautions. I believe we only had the one, but excuse me, I believe we had 2. But here we've had no cautions yet, and these guys are being extremely cautious and patient right now. But we should be coming to halfway next time by, so that things will start to heat up just a little bit. And looks like Mason Neal moving back to the outside yet again, drops back in line. Looks like he is practicing another run to the front. We saw him do this just a couple laps ago. He moves all the way up to the front, gets right up beside the leader, and then backs off. And we saw at Indy last week, he is kind of the king of the side draft, so we'll see how that plays out. And we'll When will we start to see some more side-by-side action, and when will we see a big one, or will we? Daytona, we saw a big one on the last lap coming across the start-finish line because they were 4 wide, bumping and banging. I would imagine we're going to see something similar here. As they come back around the front stretch, it should be the halfway point. And there is Mason Neal moving up. He is currently running in 6th, right behind Doug Thomas. As I mentioned, we saw Doug Thomas running the outside line at Daytona a ton last race. When they were at Daytona, we saw him on the outside. He has not been to the outside yet tonight. 28 looked like it might have got a bit of a run coming off of turn 2. He is just looking for a way to get down to the front. And he is doing an amazing job of holding that outside line. But it is Bobby Rusk who has led, as we get to the halfway point, Bobby Rusk has led every lap so far. Not seeing a lot of change of positions up at the front. Interestingly, Mason Neal has had the fastest lap so far tonight by quite a significant margin. Looks like several tenths of a second. I'm going to guess that that is when he came charging up towards the front. Let's go take a look back. Chris Stanbridge is currently on 1 lap down. He is coming through the back straightaway as they go around the front straightaway. He wants nothing more than to get a caution. Stephen Barber almost took the lead on that last lap. If he can continue to hang there on the outside, he might actually be able to pull this off. He's got a little bit of a gap he could drop down into right now. It looks like it's going to close back up on the back straightaway as you see the entire line. The entire inside line, there is nobody working the outside with him right now. Again, an impressive feat for him to stay out there all alone and still manage to hang with the leader. And he is probably figuring out quite a lot, might be able to figure something out for that last lap. It doesn't matter which lap he leads as long as it's the last one, and he continues to stay right up there trying to figure out a way to be right in front of that number 52. When the checkered flag drops. A lot of these cars are starting to spread out a little bit towards the back, probably trying to build up a little gap. 14 laps to go. I'd imagine they are going to stop playing it safe in about 4 more laps. With 10 cars on the track, it will be interesting to see just how wide they go, what risks they take as they come down to the end of the race. "13 laps to go." There is Doug Thomas. We'll be watching him to see if he starts moving to the outside. He is one of those guys that likes to run that outside line from what we've seen. As we see Stephen Barber starting to fall back again. Looks like he might have lost a little bit of that side draft and lost a little bit of track position there. He is coming down trying to get back into single file line, and no, can't do it. Looks like Mason Neal closed the gap that he was looking to jump into. Back up front, it is still Bobby Rusk, Gerald Thanos Poole, Stephen Barber. Oh, I'm sorry, it is Bobby Rusk, Gerald Thanos Poole, Superman Norman Chan, Doug Thomas, Mason Neal. Stephen Barber is now back in 6th. James Belair is in 7th. Michael Graynolds 8th. Tom Land is in 9th. And Chris Stanbridge is in 10th. 1 lap down. Be interesting to see if with 12 laps to go, if they catch up to Chris Stanbridge and if that will play into any of the strategy. They are going into turn 3. He is going into, looks like 1 and 2 right now. They're coming through the tri-oval and he's on the back straightaway. I don't know. His last few laps have only been a second off of these guys, so he may be able to stay away from them. And it looks like the 28 of Stephen Barber being up front on the outside, being a fairly dominating force early on, has fallen way behind. He's currently shown in 9th. He is quite a ways back.